Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. Thanks for all the likes and the comments and the subs. We're going to do a lot shorter video this time around. Last video went pretty long. We're just going to do like a top 5 scariest records in my collection. Let me know in the comments below what are some of the scarier records in your collection. Of course, I grew up with the Monster Mash, 45 in my collection. Grew up pretty much being scared of anything. I remember my father loved the movie The Exorcist, and he's like, you don't want to watch it. And I peeked in from the hallway and saw it, and it scared me forever. Jaws, I still don't like going to the ocean. Lots of things. Just I wasn't built for scary movies because I freak myself out enough in life. I don't need the added scare to it. But speaking about scary things, I went to see the latest Ghostbusters movie. That was kind of scary to pay that much money to see a movie. Was it good? Was it bad? It's Ghostbusters. The original, of course, will always be the best. I went to also the Days of the Dead convention. I've been going to that lot, got a lot of autographs. Again, I don't like the horror movie scene so much, but there are a few classics that I like. I primarily go because the autograph prices at this convention are fairly cheap, and there's always interesting stuff to look at. It's a good way to kill a day off. Kill. I went this year, not a lot of people were there that I was too interested in. I watched a Pet Sematary, a few of the actors from the original Pet Sematary talk about that classic Stephen King movie. And I also got a Children of the Corn soundtrack autographed by 2 of the actors in the movie. Courtney Gaines, who played Malachi, who's on the cover there. I got to meet him and make a little conversation with him. Was nice. And of course John Franklin, who played Isaac, the little kid who is all evil, and the one that says, "He wants you too, Malachi." That's my favorite part of that movie. Although that movie did scare the hell out of me. Even though it's an 80s movie, it's not. Anyway, so that got me thinking because of the scariness. And I have that up on my wall already. I collect some soundtracks. I've been trying to weed out a lot of my soundtracks. I'm just not listening to them. But I do still have some kind of scary movie soundtracks. I have the Ghostbuster, the best movie of that. I have Fright Night, which is actually a really good soundtrack. It's got really good Ian Hunter, April Wine, Jay Giles Band, Autograph, Sparks, a few other artists I'm not familiar with, and Let's Talk by Devo, which is one of my favorite bands. What else do I used to have the Omen soundtrack. I sold that because I really was listening to it. Exorcist, sold that one. This is Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. These movies always freaked me out, but I got it because you got it rockin' with Dockin'. Dream Warriors, it's actually a really nice, it's got a good hook to that song, so got Dream Warriors. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, which has Love Kills from Vinnie Vincent Invasion. Of course, Mark Slaughter singing vocals on that from Slaughter fame. And of course, Vinnie Vincent from Kiss. And Alien. I've seen Alien and Aliens. I haven't seen the other ones, but yeah. Sigourney Weaver there kills things. Alien soundtrack. So it got me thinking, what are the top 5 scariest records I have in my collection? What are the records that, if I'm home alone, I'm not going to play? I'm not going to play because I'm going to be very scared. Number 5 is Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, starring Michael Rooker, who we know him from Guardians of the Galaxy, the blue guy, the one that goes, "I'm Mary Poppin' Joe." Well, we all got to start somewhere, and one of his first movies was a serial kill movie, and when I got his autograph, that's what I brought up, like how freaky was it to make and shoot those scenes in interesting parts of Chicago and all that. But the soundtrack is very, very creepy. The score portion of the soundtrack, creepy stuff for the score there. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Like I said, that came out in 1986. And according to the FBI, there are reported 25 to 50 serial killers out there right now operating at all times. Just takes them a while to piece together the murders. In the U.S. we got about 20,000 murders a year. So some of those, they get pieced together and figure out there's a serial killer out there. You want to stay away from that, that's for sure. Number 4 is Shout at the Devil by Motley Crue. This was because of the In the Beginning leading into Shout, the kind of creepy music. Now, is it scary now? No. But when I was a kid, yeah, it was pretty scary to play that first track. I was like, oh, leave the light on, and then Shout at the Devil. And of course they do a cover of Helter Skelter on this. Of course, Charlie Manson, who's no longer with us, finally died. Number 3, again, scary now, scary then, yeah, it was scary. So scary that my parents actually came into my room in the mid-80s and they questioned me about my Iron Maiden poster. are you worshiping Satan? You know, because like the Phil Donahue show, Oprah, Geraldo show, they always had, you know, your kid's a Satanist episode show, you know, so he's like, oh, listen to heavy metal, they must be worshiping Satan in the backyard, you know, don't kill a goat in the backyard, you little brat. So yeah, it was a big thing in the 80s that every kid who was listening to heavy metal or grew their hair out was obviously worshiping the devil, obviously. So yeah, so I got questioned about that, and I was like, nah, I just like Iron Maiden a lot. So Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, of course. The song Number of the Beast is, you know, like the scary one on the album, so to speak. You know, 666. I looked it up really fast, and 666 was written into the scriptures, and they don't know if it was really supposed to be numeric 666, or I guess, what was it, Hebrews or something used to use a number for words, and somebody figured it out that they were just trying to say Nero Caesar was the end of the world. He was a really bad dude. Obviously he wasn't, because here we are in 2024. And in some versions they said translated to 616, but I don't think Iron Maiden's changing that number anytime soon. It's always, you know, 666. Number 2, scariest record in my collection from 1988. Man, the 80s were scary. The 4th one from Slayer, South of Heaven. Slayer at the time, for me, I know people watching this, they're like, dude, there's a Sweden grindcore band, or there's this band from Finland that plays like evil core, Satan core. I know there's way more evil albums out there for sure. There's scarier stuff than what I'm showing you. But this is my collection, and of course, being you know, an 80s kid, Slayer, you had Metallica, you had your Anthrax, you had other bands like that, Overkill, Exodus, but Slayer was like the evilest band you could think of. Evil stuff. And South of Heaven, whoa, what are they talking about? They're talking about hell, oh my god. So yeah, and why am I holding up Rain and Blood? I just realized that. Hold on a second. Alright, you know, Rain and Blood, equally evil, but to me, South of Heaven a little more evil, with Live Undead behind the crooked cross. We used to always scream at each other in the high school hallways. You know, Spill the Blood, Mandatory Suicide, just creepy stuff. Like, you could go with Rain and Blood, but South of Heaven, for me, number 2. I don't have it on vinyl, I just realized, so someone's going to be buying South of Heaven. Look under the cheapest listing on eBay, and I'll be buying that. So number 1, what could be the most evilest record in my whole collection here? You got to go with 1988, the 3rd album from The King. Am I talking about Elvis? Clambake? No. Talking about King Diamond. And the 3rd one is Them. And it is, you know, and I pulled Abigail. What the? Is it spirits pulling my records? Anyway, so I got Abigail, but I'm going to talk about Abigail's scary. But Them, to me, is a little scary, and I have that, but I didn't pull it. Man, the spirits were just pulling records for me. You know, it's about his grandma and some spirits, and he's got to lure grandma. He goes, grandma, that's scary right there. The whole evil grandma voice in it. He lures grandma outside the house, we can kill her, and he thinks it's all good, but then he goes back to the house, and grandma's voice is still there. It's just, whenever you have old ladies and haunted stuff, can things get more scarier than that? No. So number 1 is Them from King Diamond, or Abigail. And so yeah, that goes my top 5 scariest records in my collection. Everything is haunted. Let's kill a ghost. Thanks for watching.